How's it going, everybody? Ben from basesetmew here, and welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're taking a look at my main binder once again. So 6 months after the initial video and 4 years of collecting, we're taking another look. I actually had a YouTube community post up on my channel, and safe to say the results were pretty concise. So here we are. Even with all my mail days, you guys still want to see regular binder updates, so I am here to deliver. And I'm actually pretty excited to show off this binder once again, because I have changed a lot of things in this one, as we're gonna see once we jump straight back in. So the front page right here, that is still very much the same from the first time I have shown this off, which is why for the pages that haven't changed, I will only like briefly gloss over them and not explain every single card. That would take way too much time. And this one hasn't changed that much either. All these cards are still the same. This one has changed a little bit because I didn't have that many EX cards in my first video. So since then, I've added the Altaria, and I'm pretty sure I've also added the Dragon. I'm pretty sure this wasn't here last time either. Really happy about this Dragon. I actually got it for a really good price at the time. I think if I recall correctly, in the mail day, I paid around 80 euros for this one. So that was a really great price on the Dragonite. Really happy about the Dragonite. The second page right here, as you can see, that is completely new though. Alright, there we go. I guess that works. So I do have the super ancient Pokemon, or Hoenn trio, however you want to call them. I do have the Umbreon. This one I had since last time. I think this was the only one I had on this page in general. So there we are. Here's the Umbreon. I also have the Espeon, bought that a little while ago. And I have the 3 legendary beasts. I accidentally called them legendary dogs, I think in a video and in a post a little while ago, but no, these are actually the legendary beasts. Just wanted to correct myself on that one. And out of the 3, I meant the illustration of the Suicune is probably my favorite one, but out of the Pokemon in general, it's definitely Raikou. Raikou is just super cool. And then obviously the Hoenn Pokemon, I mean Milotic as well, and the Hoenn trio, even though I already have them back here. These ones are actually Nintendo Black Star promos, funnily enough, and these ones are super cool as well. And then over on the next page right here, the Metagross, just more Gen 3 Pokemon in general. I do have the Tyranitar as well as the Ho-Oh and Lugia EX. The Lugia EX and the Tyranitar. These two were pretty expensive when I first bought them, so I'm really happy that I do have them now. I do have my Flygon here, one of my favorite Gen 3 Pokemon up here. And initially, I had a Flygon part in my collection, but unfortunately I had to get rid of it because, well, there weren't really that many cool Flygon cards out there. And if we, hopefully, fingers crossed, we do get a Mega Flygon in Legends DA, and then coincidentally get some more cards for Flygon, maybe just like one SAR and that's it. That's all they're gonna do probably. And that will fit in my SAR collection just as is, so I don't need a separate part for that one. That's not the only part of my collection I considerably downsized, as you're gonna see once we move on from this page right here. I do have the Team Rocket's Mewtwo. You know, I did say it in the mail day where I actually got this Mewtwo. I really wanted to get this before the whole hype of Team Rocket returns, and I don't even know if the price for this card in particular has even picked up, but I still got it nonetheless because it's a really cool card. And then I do have the Gengar story behind this one. Used to have this one in German back in the day, and I have it now in Japanese, which isn't quite the same, but it's still super cool in my opinion. Over to the next page right here, the level X cards. So this is different from the first time I shown this binder off. I think this one used to be Prime cards, and I have considerably downsized the Prime cards because I was looking the other day, I say the other day, it's probably a few months ago at this point, I was looking at a Gardevoir level X, and I thought to myself, wait, hang on, these cards look super cool. And then I thought to myself, well, I should just downsize my Prime collection and just get more of these level X cards, because they are not just the spiritual successor to the EX cards, no, they are the literal successor to the EX cards, because these were released in Diamond and Pearl. And this one, the Garchomp though, if I can get it out, the Garchomp is actually incredibly cool, because the Garchomp, this is the original Cynthia's Garchomp, or Garchomp C level X from Supreme Victors, and this one was featured in Celebrations actually, but having the original one just like that is super cool in my opinion. So there we are. We'll definitely pick up more level X cards. As you can see, both of these pages are mostly empty and they're all going to be filled with level X cards right here. We'll see. I don't think the next mail day includes level X cards, because I think I have some more Mew cards for sure, and then my first gold star, which is what this site should be. So this is still very much the same, planned for the gold stars, and picked up my first gold star for the main binder right here in my upcoming mail day, which is going to be really, really cool. And then over here, this site, I had planned for this to be Call of Legends cards, but I think I've kind of gotten rid of the idea, and there was one thought crossing my mind about what cards I should put in here, and one thought would be the crystal cards. Now, I do realize that the crystal cards are really expensive. I think I've seen a Charizard one in a decent condition go for up to 5,000 euros. And I do mean the normal holographic. I know there are reverse versions of those cards, which are considerably cheaper. Not cheap, but cheaper. But I don't really like those reverse versions of those ones. I do want, if I do decide to go for the crystal cards, the normal holographic versions. So there we are. We'll see if I can make do with that. Just imagine how insane this page would look if I ever am able to finish it, right? The gold stars right here, the crystal cards right there. It's gonna be insane. If I do keep that plan though, it's gonna take me years to finish it, that's for sure. And then this page right here, this is where I moved my prime cards, and I considerably downsized to only 9 of my favorite prime cards, not including the Mew, because the Mew I did move to the my Mew collection. So there we are. I have 4 now. I need to pick up 5 more. So we'll see when I do that. And then this page right here, my alternate arts, still very much the same. Nothing has changed here. Same with the Eeveelution alternate arts. This is still very much the same from the last time I've shown this binder off. And then more of the same. So a lot of stuff has stayed the same. Alternate arts, just really briefly touch on them. I do really like the Lilligant, of course, you know. I do like alternate arts that feature more than one Pokemon. So this is great, great stuff. And then this one is also still very much the same, my VMAX Climax collection. You know, minus a few cards that are not from VMAX Climates, most notably these two right here. We have the Serena with Braixen, and I have the Sleepy Pikachu right here. And then over here, mostly VMAX Climax apart from the Cynthia Scarchomp. This is actually really cool, even though the condition isn't the best, because it does have some print lines. I don't know if you can make that out in the recording. It does have a lot of whitening. It has a texture shift error. Maybe you can see it right there. I know the light is glaring, but you can see very, very slight texture error on this card right there, which is actually pretty cool. Not really that common for Japanese cards, but I do think Battle Region in general did have a lot of quality issues. So I don't think this is the only one with that type of defect. But still very, very nice. Didn't even notice it when I first picked it up. I think it took me like over a year after I picked it up, when I was reorganizing my binder or something like that, and then I looked at the card a little more closer, so then I noticed it. So there we are. This page, though, on the other hand, this is completely different, because this one used to be over here, and I used to have more art rares from V-Star Universe, as well as the 3 legendary beasts down here. Completely changed that. This page is still very much the same. It just wanted from over here to over there. Gotten rid of most of the art rares and put them in my special binder, my 4-pocket binder. Other than the Mew is in my Mew collection over here, and then this is where my SARs start. I don't know if this page was the same when I first showed off my binder. I'm not too sure, but I'll briefly touch on this. We do have the 3 starter evolutions right here. That's a given, right? The Scarlet and Violet era, we need to have those. We also have Koraidon and Miraidon, and I did add this one because the texture on this card in Japanese is absolutely insane. I wonder if I can show it off with the sleeve. Yeah, look at this one. Look at how pronounced the tornado is in the background. That looks super cool. Would look even better without the glare, but you know, it is what it is. I do have the Iron Valiant and the Roaring Moon, as well as the Altaria. The Altaria is pretty much an obvious choice for me, right? I do love Gen 3, and Altaria is really cool. Not only that, it does feature Wingull in the background, and this card actually has a really cool history, or well, implied history, because if you look at the art rare for the Swablu of this card, you can see the Swablu sitting among the Wingull. So I'd imagine the Swablu kind of grew up with those Wingull and then eventually evolved, which is why the Altaria is still traveling with them, as you can see right there. And I love that illustrations can tell a story. Not very obvious for some of them. I mean, if you look at the Gardevoir line from Paldea Evolved or Scarlet and Violet Base Set, I can't remember, one of the two, and that one tells a very obvious story, right? You have the Ralts, and then everyone is still very young. You have the Kirlia, everyone is a little bit older, and then you have the Gardevoir, where everyone is super old, and they even had a kid themselves, so that is a really cool part of collecting Pokemon illustrations that tell a story. I love that about Pokemon. Alright, this one, I'm pretty sure this one is completely new, because I don't know if I had this page. I did used to have a lot of English SARs, but then at some point I switched them out for solely Japanese because the texture is just way better. I think the point that really made me switch was actually this Alakazam. The Alakazam is kind of infamous because I have pulled this Alakazam, I think 3 or 4 times, something crazy like that. Once in German, 2 times in English, and then 1 time in Japanese, something like that. When I compared the texture between the Japanese and the English one, it kind of clicked, and I was like, wait, hang on. The Japanese one looks so much better, and especially for Pokemon 151, the Japanese cards were way cheaper than the English counterpart. I mean, that kind of applies to most SARs. The Japanese ones are gonna be a little bit cheaper than the English ones, which is why I decided to switch as well. Better texture and cheaper, right? When we just look at the next page after this one, just want to point out the Hydreigon. I actually pulled this one from my traditional Chinese 5th anniversary gift box from a Super Electric Breaker box, so I'm really happy about this one. Definitely my chase from that set. So there we are. And if we just swap over to this page, right, I do have 3 Eeveelutions from Terastal Festival EX, and this is where it really gets crazy. Like in English, these cards are super expensive, right? And then in Japanese, they're still somewhat affordable, you know, apart from the Umbreon, of course. I have the Glaceon, this one I pulled myself, and these 2 I bought. I think both of them I actually bought off Sugar Goo. I'm not too sure. No, I think this one I might have bought off Card Market, and this one I definitely bought off Sugar Goo. And I think the next mail day from Sugar Goo, or not Sugar Goo, Card Hobby, sorry, Card Hobby. And I think the next mail day from Card Hobby may even include another Eeveelution, so slowly but surely I do get more of these Eeveelutions, and then someday I will complete them. And then this page will be dedicated to more SARs, same as these 2 pages, which is why I downsized my collection, because with all these upcoming sets and all the cards being super cool, I do need a lot of space for these SARs, right? So there we are. Here is the start of my Mew collection. Not really much has changed, it's just the location of the cards that has changed. I think these ones used to be over here and then somewhere around there, but here we are. These are the cards you have seen already. All really special. This one I've told about you multiple times now, that I pulled this on Christmas Eve a few years back. This one I bought myself off Card Market. This one I pulled in Discord with a bunch of friends, which was really cool. I did open, I think, 2 Shiny Treasure EX boxes in general, among a few other things, with a couple of friends in Discord, and ended up pulling this one, which was really nice. I have a shorts up on the channel of that pull. Check it out if you're interested. Then over here, more of the same. You do see that I have an empty spot right here. This is where the Mew card I bought off Card Hobby is supposed to go. whenever I do decide to do that mail day. So this is where the card hobby Mew card go. Don't want to reveal anything yet, what kind of Mew card it is, but it is a really, really special one. Maybe a little bit of a hint, it is another play promo, although not this Mew EX. I think that should give it away what card it is. And then this one, as you can see right here, I have the Mew artware, even though I already have this in a CGC Perfect 10. I did add it in the binder again when I gotten rid of most of my V-Star Universe art rares. So there we are. And this one is actually reversed for the 003 SVP Chinese Mew promo. I'll put a picture up here, it's way easier to show you. And I did actually order 2 proxies of that card, of Taobao and Sugar Goo. Notably, those 2 are also in the parcel that was seized by German customs, and that's actually a good topic. I have a small, very, very small update on that. I actually messaged Sugar Goo and, you know, basically explained the situation to them, and I kid you not, 2 hours later, I got an email back from them saying they've confirmed it with FedEx and they're refunding me the full amount. Amazing customer service, right? That is incredible. I was really surprised. They acted super fast on that. So I don't know what card I will ever put in here. Maybe I'll try to get another proxy, but we shall see. And then over here is my Rayquaza collection. This is still very much the same as well. No new cards, nothing has changed. Just want to point out I do have another Rayquaza C level X. I did actually have this before I decided to get more level X cards, so there you go. Also pretty cool story behind this, but I think I told it in my very first binder showcase, so there we are. And here is the Pikachu. And if you just get a peek over here, you'd see the Gardevoir, and you might ask, well, where is the Charizard page you used to have? Ah, well, there we are. That is the topic. I don't have one anymore. I've gotten rid of my Charizard page because realistically, the only 2 cards that were really, really cool were the Charizard VMAX I pulled myself from a single Darkness Ablaze blister, and then the Celebrations Charizard. And apart from those 2, all the other cards were kind of like, I don't want to say generic because I still liked them, otherwise they wouldn't have been in my main binder. But then again, I do have to kind of admit something right here. I don't really like Charizard that much, honestly. Like, Charizard is fine, but I do prefer Shiny Charizard. Like, I really like Shiny Charizard because I think it's just super cool, which is why most of my graded cards that I have of Charizard are actually Shiny Charizard cards. That's like the only reason. So that's why I've gotten rid of my Charizard part of the collection. I did leave the Pikachu because Pikachu is super iconic, at least to me, because I started out with Pokemon Yellow, and Pikachu is the poster child of Pokemon, right? Even if someone doesn't know Pokemon, if you show them a picture of Pikachu, I guarantee it, 90% of the time they know exactly who that is. And then right here, I might want to replace a few cards in here. Definitely not those 3, because those are really cool. Not this one, maybe this one for a better centered version, or maybe I'll pick up the Thai version or Indonesian version, like a cheaper one that also has that Japanese texture. This one I do want to keep, this one as well, the Rainbow Pikachu, another card I bought of Card Hobby. This one I pulled myself, may want to replace this one. We shall see what I do. And then over here is my Gardevoir collection. Once again, nothing has changed in this collection. Actually, I think this one might be new and this one might be new. I'm not too sure, but I think those 2 might be new, actually. I do want to replace this one at some point as well as this one. First, let me talk about this one. Even though it is an illustration by Akira Igawa and is super well done with the Yanthi and Gardevoir there, I think another card would fit way better. But I have to figure out which one, and then for now I'll keep it in the binder. And then this one I do want to replace with either the Japanese version or the simplified Chinese version, you know, just to get a version with better texture, and that's really the only reason why I want to replace that one. No other reason, just to get like a little bit of better texture. Alright, and this might actually be one of my favorite pages in the binder. It hasn't changed. This is still also very much the same, with the Friends in Alola 18 copies, but I just love looking at this page. This is my favorite full art trainer. So there we are. And then right here, nothing has changed for these 2 pages either. I still need to pick up a bunch of full art trainers for this part particular, but haven't gotten down to it yet, so we'll see what I do. And then this also still very much the same. Same with these 2 pages right here, my Sword and Shield era full art trainers. Nothing has changed on these pages, but this one has changed very slightly. So originally I was going after a lot more full art trainers, especially SAR full art trainers, but I downsized that part of the collection considerably as well as exchanged the English ones that I did have for Japanese ones. As you can see, I do have the 2 most important ones, or 3 I should say, with the Miriam, the Iono, which was the most expensive one out of all of these, and then I do have the Licia, which was also kind of pricey. The Licia I picked off of Card Hobby once again, as well as the Miriam right here, so look at that. Really cool, right? And I do have 3 more right here with the Janine, with the Kieran, and I have Lana right here. This one I actually used to have in German, but once again, I did exchange it for a Japanese copy. And then these are all going to be filled with more SAR trainers. I don't have a lot of space for more SAR trainers, so I do have to be kind of conservative with them, right? With the space that I do have. Well, but there we are. That was my binder update video. This video was a lot shorter than the last one, but then again, you've seen most of the cards in this binder already, but it was still super fun to show off an update for you guys. And as you voted for it, I will definitely do these update videos more regularly. Well, but anyways, I guess that does it for this video. If you enjoyed this one, then please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, then give it a thumbs down. Tell me in the comments below what you didn't like, so I can try to fix that for future videos. Other than that, right here's the video that YouTube thinks is best suited for you. Right here's the subscribe button. Click this one first, then click this video. Check out any other videos in the description below, and I hope we'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Peace, take care.